What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Today we have a special video from Richie from Boston. Again, if you guys haven't seen Young Blue Skeptic's video that I posted yesterday, you should definitely go and check it out. But today we're going to be going over this shit.
If they could clone a sheep way back when, they can reanimate a giant. I believe they have Osiris. I believe they have all this stuff that they needed, which is why mummies were made.
So Richie has a lot of crazy ideas that he spouts in this particular video. We're going to go from education being some kind of indoctrination type thing or brainwashing thing, and we're going to switch gears to GMOs and how they're monkey-headed tomatoes or something, and then we're going to be heading on over to Egypt, where apparently Osiris was cloned by the US government and is kept underground in secret base size or city size bases or something. I don't know. Getting confused even reciting all of Richie's crazy ideas. But if you're interested in any of this crazy shit, then please stay tuned. Oh shit, look, it's Richie from Boston. Goddamn, you can't do that on me, Richie. You can't just appear out of fucking nowhere when I push a button like that to show your ass. So Richie here is going to tell us how evolution is not legitimate, and then a bunch of other crazy shit. He goes off the deep end and he just starts spouting a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today,
What's up, Richie from Boston? How you doing?
if it seems like I'm being hard on anybody, I'm not. I understand people's reluctance to point to the Bible to explain what it is we're in right now. All of mass media, movies, scientists, politicians, everybody is being force-fed from science, Big Bang, evolution, so forth and so on. How about this? 50 years I've been
Okay, so by forcing science on people, he's just talking about educating people in general. Just so that you understand what he's talking about, he's mad at people being scientifically educated into higher IQs.
alive. Half a century, is that right? Half a century or a decade? Whatever. Century. Half a century.
He got there eventually. Yes, it's 50 years is half a century. It is not half a decade. That would be 5 years. Kind of like the equivalent IQ that you have.
People are not better than they used to be. You see what I'm saying? People have access to a ridiculous amount of information via the internet.
You know, it's amazing to me that people like Richie from Boston still fucking exist and know how to access the internet enough to upload a fucking video.
Some people are addicted to things like the news or sports. They want to know all the facts, the figures, so forth and so on.
Yeah, fuck us for wanting to stay updated on current events. Fuck you for wanting to know the latest sports score because it entertains your ass. Just fuck all of us and our information and shit.
Well, when you're getting your information from people that are unrolling an agenda before our eyes, the information that you're memorizing and putting forth to others, whether you're being arrogant about it or helpful, it doesn't matter, but I notice that most people are arrogant about it.
I guess I would be a prime example of being arrogant about the shit. I guess I'm being kind of arrogant about, oh, hey, look, I recognize that it's just education and it's nothing fucking crazy like you're trying to spout here. You're totally straw manning the education system. I'm a fucking arrogant son of a bitch.
The info that you're getting is wrong. It's skewed. According to science, genetically modified food has helped feed the world. That's a lie. That's a lie.
How is it a lie? Before you do that, though, I would like to bring your attention to Norman Borlaug. Norman Borlaug is a geneticist that actually won the Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. That's because he developed a genetically modified version of wheat that would grow in places like Mexico and India and I believe Pakistan too. Yeah, Mexico, Pakistan, and India. The result of which was that Mexico became a net exporter quarter of wheat by 1963, and between 65 and 70, the wheat yields nearly doubled in Pakistan and India, greatly improving the food security in those nations. I can guarantee you nobody grew gills and started fucking swimming in under the water and shit, okay, because they ate some wheat. All he did was develop this crop that could grow in harsh environments, and essentially that's what genetically modified foods are. And also I would say that there are two different types of genetically modified foods. There's genetically modified foods from artificial selection. There's that kind of genetically modifying an organism, and then there's the actual like CRISPR methods and directly dealing with the genes. The ones that he doesn't like are the ones where you deal directly with the genes. But even then, all they're doing is putting in or splicing in genes that help these things become more resilient. Or like, for instance, with these particular tomatoes, they put in a gene that allowed them to ripen later so that they would be fresher on the shelves for longer periods of time. They also integrate a lot of pesticide resistance into them so that you don't have to use pesticides on these things. But then again, a lot of people love to go to like farmers markets and get the totally GMO free corn that's got maggots on the fucking end of it, because you won't either use pesticides or genetically modified corn. I don't mean to shit on farmers market in general. The farmers market's pretty good most of the time, but I'm saying is that you have those problems with the farmers market and with not using pesticides and not using genetically modified food sources. But anyways, that's just a short kind of brief thing. Genetically modified organisms have been going on for the longest time. Dogs now are genetically modified. Strawberries, bananas, almost any food that you can think of is genetically modified in some way.
You can look up the information for yourself. That is not the case whatsoever at all. GMOs have literally turned our food into Frankenstein food. That's
What do you even mean by Frankenstein food? It's like you're gonna grow a tomato and it's gonna have like a fish fin mixed with a shark head.
a fact. It is what it is. When you have to go to a store to buy organic food, that's just stupid.
I agree. Buying the purely organic food is kind of stupid. I mean, I get it if you have some other reason, but if your reason is that, oh, I don't trust GMO foods, that is stupid. Like saying, oh, I don't trust GMO foods. I don't know what they spliced in there. I could bite in there and get a monkey head or something. That's just ridiculous.
Organic food. Food is organic by its very nature, except now it's been effed with.
It's been fucking effed with, guys. It's been effed up the A with it, okay? You MFers out there, don't F with my food. Get your dick out of my tomatoes. It's like fucking American pie up in here, except it's American potatoes.
And when you look at all the major retailers of organic food, look behind the layers and see who owns them.
Ooh, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess Monsanto is one of them, along with other Illuminati people. I'm betting it's Illuminati people. Is it Illuminati people?
Monsanto?
Fuck, I was right. It's always Monsanto. Monsanto gives us psychopaths and fucking monkey-headed goddamn tomatoes.
Or Bayer, or somebody along those lines.
Bayer? Like the aspirin pharmaceutical company? I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, if they do, okay, but it just seems a little weird. It's like Bayer is kind of out there.
Our entire civilization, we're evolving, and yet, I can't even finish that one.
I can't even finish the bullshit I was making up right there. I don't even know where I was going with that one. Fuck me.
And then they're even going past that. They're telling us the evolution of humanity means that you can either be a man, a woman, a transgender, a fluid gender. Like, this is all laughable and ludicrous.
You know why that's laughable and ludicrous? Because you're just making it up right here on this spot. Nobody says that that's evolution. I think that those particular situations and instances have existed the entire time that we've been human. We understand it better now. That doesn't mean that that's part of evolution. I think that we're always evolving. Every form of an animal is like a transitional form. I mean, right now I would say that we are a transitional form, but we're also the apex like predator. There's no reason for us to really change. Now, if you like shot astronauts out into space and whatnot, they would probably change and they would, you know, develop differently. If we went and lived on another planet that had different properties and shit and lived there for, you know, hundreds of thousands of years, they would end up being different species of the genus Homo, the Homo genus. But you get what I mean.
When I started my channel in 2010, this wasn't a thing. That's how fast this has happened. This isn't evolution. This is social programming, social experimentation on a grand scale.
I don't know if he's saying that evolution is social programming or the new understanding of how gender and sexuality works is social programming. I think that it's the latter, so we're going to go with that. No, it's not social programming. That, again, is pulling it directly out of your ass.
These people have figured out a way using the internet, social media, so forth, so on, blah, 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 blah. They can do something and then sit back and monitor everybody's reactions in real time. There was never, that never existed. Do you know what I'm saying? People in different areas had
I don't know what you're saying, bro. Nobody knows what you're saying.
Their own customs, they had their own way of living, their own way of being. That's all blurred now. When I was a kid, people stayed in their own races, for instance.
Holy shit! Everybody stayed in their own races? Are you seriously advocating for, like, fucking racism now?
You're Italian, married Italian, so forth, so on, blah, blah, blah. That is out the window.
Wait a second. He just said that Italian was a race. Italian is not a race. Italian's a nationality. I don't know what you think race is, but it's definitely not Italian.
I can't help but think back to creation. Everybody, people from China were Chinese, people from Japan were Japanese, people from the Caucasus Mountains were white, or whatever that is. I don't know.
At creation, there was no China, there was no Japan, there was no whatever other country he's talking about. None of that actually existed, and there was no creation, for one. I meant, like, at the beginning of the earth or whatever the fuck. It's just, it's ridiculous for him to even make these assertions.
Everything that's occurring right now has been written down in the Bible.
How do you even get there? Like, seriously, how do you get that everything that's occurring now is written down in the Bible? Like, I don't see any of the shit that's happening now in the fucking Bible. You must be reading a different Bible than I am, because I've read the Bible. I'm currently reading the Bible. This shit's not in there.
I love nature. I love outdoors. I love harsh climates. I love being able to take care of myself by myself. I forget what I was saying.
I don't even know why you started bringing that up. I mean, that was not me cutting some shit out right there. That was literally him being like, I love nature. I go out there and I fucking masturbate underneath the clouds every single fucking day.
You look at nature, if you look at animals, trees, plants, flowers, how everything works, how everything, all the animals work together, like there's a thing called instincts, which aren't something that you would evolve over time.
Instincts are exactly evolved over time. I don't know what you're talking about. The animal is living in an area, and the basic instincts that animal has that allows it to survive better than the other animals around it, of course, that is evolution. So I don't know what you mean by it's not. He's definitely going the route of, like, the argument from design, though, because he's talking about nature and animals and all that other kind of shit. This is not a good argument to use for Jesus or Christianity in general. For one thing, we have natural explanations to explain why things appear the way they do today. Evolution has a scientifically tested theory that has not been broken yet. Like, see, that's what you do, is you test theories to break them, and it has not been broken yet because it's a strong theory. And anytime there is a problem with it or a problem's pointed out, we can always refactor that theory and make it so that it's a better theory that better represents reality. What he's doing here is just pulling shit out of his ass and saying, nope, that ain't natural. That's God-given right there.
Instincts are something that are given to you. Instincts and that little voice inside. What I'm trying to say is, if you...
Richie, what does your little voice tell you on the daily basis? I want to know so that I can know if you're talking back to that little voice.
You are in search of ultimate truth. Truth of what's happening around here, truth of what's going on, and truth of what's coming. You have to find your way to the Bible. That's the truth. That's all there is to it. People.
No, that's not the truth. The Bible is the furthest thing from the truth. There's so little truth in the Bible that you can actually do away with the Bible and you will be better off. There's so little truth in it. So I don't know what you mean by truth here, and you haven't actually given any kind of evidence as to like the truth that it speaks, other than the fact that, oh, Jesus is Lord and I'm going to heaven to suck his dick.
People can say the Bible was messed with and this, and I hear you. It probably was. I don't know. I can't prove it. And I don't think anybody else can either.
Actually, we can prove it. We have extant manuscripts dating back to the 3rd century. So we can tell exactly how much the Bible was changed over time. What we don't know is prior to that, we don't know how much the Bible was changed, but it definitely fucking was changed.
But when you look at things like the Fibonacci sequence, you look at things like the golden ratio, it's the fingerprint of God. It's absolutely everywhere.
I don't know if he knows what fingerprints are. Because the golden ratio is definitely not the fingerprint of God.
Things in the Bible have been proven with rock solid proof. Proof you could hold in your hand.
I will agree you can hold shit in your hands. I'm not talking about actual evidence, of course. I'm talking about a literal turd. You can hold a turd in your hand. There's more evidence for your turd than there is for what's in the Bible.
And it's all been sucked up by the wealthy. I go out to the desert.
The wealthy are out there sucking up all these turds. No, there's no evidence that's been sucked up by the wealthy that's hiding the truth of the Bible, I think is what he was getting at.
All the time, as often as I can. It's really far from where I live, but at any rate, you go out there, in the middle of nowhere, you'll find a massive stone, and 35 feet up that massive stone face, you'll find petroglyphs. Every time you find petroglyphs, undoubtedly you will come across 6 fingers, spirals, serpents, and then large people, because there were giants in those days.
How did we get here, Richie? What are we even fucking talking about? Because you climb this rock face over here, you're gonna find 6 fucking fingers and then a large, tall fucking Shaq-looking motherfucker over there. His name's Nephilim, though. It ain't Shaq.
And there will be again. I'm almost positive that they have. I mean, why all the frenzy about DNA? If they could clone it.
What do you mean the frenzy about DNA? What are you even talking about?
A sheep, way back when, they can reanimate a giant. I believe they have Osiris. I believe they.
Honey, did you hear what he just said? He believes that the mysterious they has Osiris, like the old god of the Egyptians, Osiris, the fuck that didn't exist. Apparently they have Osiris because they cloned him. Okay, so I think I'm with you after a little bit more beer. Let's see where you go with this.
They have all this stuff that they needed, which is why mummies were made. The Egyptians or the Phoenicians or whoever it was that made mummies, all they were doing was making sure they were saving viable tissue for thousands of years so that at some point the technology would come around again where they could reanimate them.
Okay. So now the Egyptians only made mummies to preserve old ass flesh and bones so that people in the future could clone them, because obviously goddamn Egyptians knew about cloning, knew that it would come about, knew that people were going to develop the technology, and obviously they saved their bodies. I'm just taking in all of the fucking crazy right now, because nothing that he said is actually supported by any kind of historical evidence ever. Like, it's not even wrong. Have you ever heard of that term, not even wrong? That's when somebody literally pulls an idea out of their ass with no evidence or anything like that. And so they're in the impossible position of not even being wrong. See, there's wrong, and then there's not even wrong when you just, there's nothing you can say or should say to refute it, because it's just fucking ridiculous.
See what I'm saying? Makes sense? We can't mummify people now. We
could mummify people now. We don't do it anymore. So I don't know what you mean by we can't do it now. We could do it if the Egyptians can do it, I can guarantee you we can do it now.
Actually do the exact opposite. They rip everything out of you and throw it away and fill you full of formaldehyde. I'm pretty sure that's not how you're supposed to leave this mortal coil.
I don't know how you're supposed to leave this mortal coil. I'm guessing the way you're supposed to leave this mortal coil is by old age, ideally. But even then, you have people that die in various ways.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's another little joke they're playing on us. They saved people, especially, I think, I mean, can't prove this either. They saved people that were special, people that had elongated skulls, so forth and so on.
Okay, I feel like now he's talking about like Central American society, like early societies who would bind infants' heads and make their skulls grow and whatnot. They weren't. It's not like they came out the womb with a fucking big ass skull. Like they had, like from a young age, they wore shit and put shit on kids' heads that make their heads grow like that.
So I'm positive in their deep underground military bases that are basically cities underneath all of our cities right now. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's just that's a thing. Been around a long time.
Now there are military bases underneath every city in the United States that house, I guess, cloning facilities for these special people that the Egyptians saved millennia ago. I feel like this is tantamount to Dean Esme's conspiracy theory right here.
I'm fairly certain that they have legion of these things.
Oh, yeah, they have a legion of these things. Not only that, but this is a fact, guys. Trust me, it's a fact, okay?
The artificial intelligence, the D-Wave specifically, is nothing more than a Ouija board. It allows super high-speed bandwidth back and forth with other dimensional entities that are giving them the blueprint to unlock hell on earth.
So now they have D-Wave AI Ouija boards that communicate with interdimensional beings that are here to that are giving us instructions on how to open up hell on earth. Honestly, this sounds like a pretty dope Doom sequel, if you gotta be honest. Like, I could see the writers for the next Doom after Doom Eternal being like, oh shit, well, you know what? We could do like a prequel that has these D-Waves motherfuckers be using it as a Ouija board to communicate with these interdimensional fucks.
And the assholes that are doing it have been blinded by power, money, wealth, and I'm sure the promise of eternal life. It's the exact same promise that was made in the beginning, and why wouldn't they use it again? You see what I'm saying?
I have no idea what you're saying, Richie. Nobody has any idea what you're saying. I guess maybe your followers do, but that's because they don't think critically.
Don't be afraid to make videos telling people what your beliefs are. If you're talking about anything that you're calling truth, you have to come to the Bible.
Unless you disagree with him about all of this shit.
You have to come to Jesus. You have to come to Genesis and Revelation specifically.
Okay, well, the last thing I'm going to do is come on Jesus, okay? Like, there's no way I could get hard enough with Jesus around to come on him. I don't know why you would ask me to do that, Richie.
Two of the most heavily attacked books in the entire Bible. There's a reason for that. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm out.
Peace out, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of good shit. You understand me? You haven't liked this video right now, then the Illuminati demons are gonna be communicating with your D-Waves through the interdimensional portal to convince you to open up hell on earth with evolutionary GMO wheat or something. You gotta put the GMO wheat in a pentagram and then take a shit right in the middle of the floor, and that will summon the demons, is what it'll do. Anyways, thank you, heathens, for making it to the end. What did you think of Richie's weird-ass ideas? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this crazy kind of shit. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.